Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builder Supply. This video is to bring you a closer look at the Kwikset 293 Round Rosette. This is shown in the polished brass finish. This is what would be called carded. It's on cardboard. It's display packaging is generally what that means. I have one removed from the packaging here so we can take a closer look at it. A nice quality item. It's going to be made of solid brass with a polished brass finish and then a lacquer applied. It would be appropriate to call this 605 for the finish. Polished brass, solid brass, polished, that has a lacquer applied, all three of those. The proper way to hold that would be like this. So these little half circles were on your 3 and 9 o'clock positions. These small little dimples that you see here, that'd be pretty common to see that at 12 and 6. The reason for that is lock sets, especially those that have levers, they're going to have a couple of small little prongs generally, and locks always do have them. Small little prongs or little teats or detents here, dimples, and that's intended to bite into the face of the door. So what happens with this is the plate is prepped to receive those small prongs or dimples on the underside of the rosette of your grade 3 lock, your grade 2 lock, your grade 1 lock. Light duty, standard residential, heavy duty grade 3, standard residential, grade 2, standard heavy duty residential, light duty commercial, grade 1, heavy duty commercial. They'll all have that. Now this won't work with all of those different lock types, and in particular is going to be best suited, of course, for use with Kwikset locks. And what I mean by that is the diameter here, which we'll get to. But these two half circles allow the prongs to set into. But up here, you're transferring that via the plate to the face of the door by these dimples that are here. You want the lock to kind of bite into the face of the door ever so slightly. And they are definitely thinking you're installing this down onto a wood door, because that dimple projects from the face of, or the back side of that plate ever so slightly. If you have a metal-clad door, which you might need to drill a little hole to get that to sit completely flat, because you're not going to be able to tighten that lock to the point where you can get that steel to, even though it's very light gauge, 28 gauge, whatever it might be, to accommodate that. So that's what those half circles and dimples are for. The ID of the rose, which means the OD of what you can expect to fit into it, is right at about 2 and 9/16. Okay, right at about 2 and 9/16 for that dimension here. So you're going to want your rose to really not be bigger than 2.5 inch. That's for sure. OD otherwise about 3 3/4, maybe just heavy on that. Let's take a dimension of the thickness as well. You know what? Yeah, we'll do it. This is not going to change the thickness of your unit appreciably whatsoever. And we're really not going to be able to measure that. At least my caliper is not going to. My caliper is just too large to fit inside of there. But I can kind of put it on the outside edge here to get an idea of the material thickness. It's about 35 thousandths. Okay, so it's quite thin. Lock sets are generally going to be compatible with doors that are, if your lock is compatible with an 1 3/4 thick door, 1 7/8 is going to work. Adding 2 of these should not add really more than 3/32 of an inch. So this, I've never heard of this contributing to a lock not being long enough to reach through the modified thickness of the door. And then moving forward to a final dimension, let's just get an idea of what its projection off the face of the door would be. I'd say right at about 0.187, so about 3/16 total projection. Now, why would you order this? 2 reasons that I can think of. The most common reason is that it's what's called a scar plate. In the industry, if someone said scar plate, they generally want a round rosette that your lock is going to fit into and through, and will help disguise any sort of markings or scar pattern that you have around the lock. Someone might have gotten in and tampered with the lock, jimmied the lock, vandalized the lock, and left marks. So scar plate, number one. Number two reason is because you want to just change the look. You want to change it up. And people will literally order this just for a visual change in what locks that they have there. A lot of people order it for that reason alone. This client, I can't tell you why they're ordering it, for which of the two primary reasons that I see. But sure, it does make it look very nice. This sort of concept, this lock look, is going to be a very 1950s, 1960s, mid-century sort of look. If you went back in a Kwikset catalog or a Schlage catalog or Dexter or Yale, if you're looking at lock designs from the mid-20th century, you're going to see nice rosettes. Some of them are really gorgeous, large, starburst, certain sort of etched and forged products that have names of Greek and Roman gods. Beautiful designs. You go much larger than this, and then you're going to have to start to think about a larger back set on your door. So, the edge of the center of the hole to the edge of this is about 1 7/8 inches. So be mindful, and this is another important thing. It's about 1 inch maybe about 2 inch. If your back set is 2 3/8, edge of the door to the center of the hole at 2 3/8. Now just look at 2 3/8 on the tape measure. You can see that this plate may come quite close to the stop on the frame. So if this was any larger, it's not going to work. And that's why that 3 1/2 or so is that magic dimension. You get into plates that are larger, you're going to need not a 2 3/4 back set, maybe 3 3/4 or 5 inch or variation or extensions of that. Back in the heyday of beautiful escutcheon plates, mid-century, 5 inch back set, 12 inch back set, 18 inch back set, locks that were in the center of the thickness of the door. It's all, it was all in play at that time. So maybe you're just looking to get into the early 1960s a little bit, or the 50s. With that sort of look. There's a link below this video to the installation instructions. Let's switch to the screen view now and take a closer look. Now here is the item that we are looking at in front of us. Polished brass. They've got it at 3 13/16 diameter. Again, it's in that range. It's a little shy. Yeah, whatever. 3 3/4 is what it actually is. Will work with either 2 3/8 or 2 3/4 back set. Wouldn't work with a 2 inch. That does exist. Would work with 3 3/4. But really, what's going to be the most important part is how large of a rose do you have to fit in there. That's the key component to this. Designed for use with existing entry knob for handle set lock. Entry knob lock not included. Then you select your finish. It's available in polished brass, 605 polished brass, 609 antique brass, 619 satin nickel, and 626 satin chrome. Well, actually, 615 they show is discontinued. Now, link here to the installation instructions. That's literally a scan of the back side of the package. And I won't touch on this very much. It's remove the lock, put your plates down, and rock and roll. Now, generally, you're going to order this in multiples of 2. Not that you have to have 2, but if you want one on each side of the door, be sure to order 2 because they're sold as each. So not too terribly much to see here, but it's just the packaging that this material would come in. There's a link below this video here to the manufacturer's page where you can review not only all of the Kwikset items that we sell, okay, by means of this horizontal navigation here. Fun fact, the Kwikset 138 installation kit, this has been recently discontinued, probably discontinued at some point in 2019 would be my guess. And just yet another company who no longer makes installation kits. Kwikset stopped in 2019. Classic Engineering did. Best no longer offers one. The one they offer is by ProLock, I believe. Schlage still has one. Major still has one. ProLock doesn't, of course, has one. There's another company called Bighorn that has one. Templaco has some stuff. But this Kwikset, in Westlock, of course, no longer has one. This kit got a lot of traction for a lot of people for a long time. We don't have much of this material left in stock. Just wanted to archive the data since I saw it as I was scrolling down. Now, the link to the manufacturer's page also, that link to the website is here, and to their product category. Fun fact about Kwikset, and I'll tell you that when we switch back to the screen view and wrap up this video. And that fun fact is that I had been told, I had heard in a class that I was in at an Aloha convention, 2018 perhaps, Kwikset ships 1 million locks a day. And as you shake your head and you think to yourself, is that even remotely possible? Well, that's what I had heard. Or at least what we know is to be true is that they are the largest manufacturer of locks, period, in terms of volume. You know, a lot of people might think Kwikset is, rightfully so, just a maker of residential locks. That's what they make. There might be some disdain for Kwikset because it's low-quality Kwikset locks. That could be true, too. You do get what you pay for, but looking at it from the other perspective of admiring them for what it is that they do. The largest lock manufacturer? Okay. That's number one. Number two is, every time that I've called there for technical support, I've been speaking to some people who understand the theory of locksmithing. So the people that they have there know their product line. Actually, I last called them about 2 weeks ago to ask for the question on a Kwikset 980 on a deadbolt. Where did this set screw go? The set screw did not appear in the installation instructions at all, and I didn't have any experience with the lock. Well, the gal I spoke to, whose first language was not English, was I'm assuming was not born in the United States, possessed the most expert level of knowledge over the lock that could be asked for. This lady had to tell me twice because she went too quick, even though she was lovely, and her bedside manner was amazing. Went, this is where it goes? Yep. Well, nope, that's where it goes. It's great. And I really appreciate that. And every time that I've called them, I got that spot-on sort of service. And then there's Smart Key technology as a platform that I'm very, that I admire a lot. It's a really smart sort of way to use technology that you'll see in cylinders that has existed for countless decades, but they've used it in such an ingenious way. Doesn't mean it's high security, or doesn't mean that it's going to necessarily keep someone from picking your lock, but just some of the innovations that they have are just really superb. And I actually also understand that their sister company is Baldwin, that they're owned by Spectrum, Kwikset and Baldwin, and I find that their technical support on both fronts, Baldwin and Kwikset, are just superb. So to them I say thank you. Are they just a manufacturer of residential locks? You betcha. Are they probably the best that exist? You betcha. Any questions on the 293 Rosette from Kwikset or any other Kwikset product, please feel free to reach out to us. And thank you. Again, thank you for watching, and if you've enjoyed this video, please click thumbs up, please subscribe, and maybe even send the video to someone that you know. Thank you.